from Rishi Sunak, who I have it on good authority is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. I guess anyone can be these days. Is now saying, in an effort to discourage people from illegally migrating, that if you come to the United Kingdom illegally, you cannot claim asylum, which, nice international law. You cannot benefit from our modern slavery protections. You can't make spurious human rights claims. I have no idea what this means. You can't stay. Denied access to the UK's modern slavery system. Now think for a second, okay? Whatever interpretation of this announcement you've decided to settle on in your mind, whose idea was it to describe it as the UK's modern slavery system? Yeah, truly a what did he mean by this moment. I have no idea. What did I just read? I have no idea. The messaging here is insane. Even if you kept the content of the message, the decision to call it this is insane. I also don't think this is actionable at all. This is literally just a vague Twitter threat. But a threat suggests intention, or at least tone, and I think it's worth looking at that at least. So, if you come to the UK illegally, you can't claim asylum. That right there is a violation of international law, but we can get a little beyond that. You can't stay. Well, that would depend on your asylum claim in accordance with international law. But you can't benefit from our modern slavery protections. Now, there are two possible interpretations of this, one of which is a lot more charitable than the other, okay? The more charitable interpretation is that if you enter the country legally, as opposed to illegally, to whatever extent that actually is happening, you are under the supervision and guidance of the law, and therefore it's far harder to traffic you and subject you to slavery because you're in the system. Whereas if you come here illegally, you're not in the system, definitionally, and therefore you can't really benefit from those protections. Another less charitable interpretation of this, and one that I think might be more accurate, is he saying that essentially, if you are in our country illegally, we will just not protect you from trafficking and slavery. We will, if you're not a legal citizen, it is free fucking game for traffickers. They will snatch your ass up and we won't do a thing about it. It is deliberately ambiguous, but I think that's actually what's being said here. I mean, it's the Tories. They don't deserve charitability. That is true. Groundbreaking new laws to stop the boats. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister made stopping the boats one of his 5 big promises to the British people. The Stop the Boats or Illegal Migration Bill will fulfill that promise by ending illegal entry as a route to asylum in the United Kingdom. This will remove the incentive for people to risk their lives through these dangerous and unnecessary journeys and pull the rug from under the criminal gangs profiting from this misery once and for all. This is a government website, by the way. This is from gov.uk, so this isn't like a news site, right? This is the UK government. You guys might remember that Italy actually imposed a similar law where they they said they'd turn away, they wouldn't accept, they wouldn't process people crossing the Mediterranean. And what happened after that, lads? Well, there wasn't actually a meaningful decrease in the number of people who tried. There was a significant increase in the number of people who died trying. It turns out that people who are desperate and fleeing to a country that they want to live in will not be stopped by this. They will continue. We're just imposing misery on them at quite an expense, too, at the taxpayer's dollar. People who arrive in the UK illegally will instead be detained and swiftly removed to their home country, if safe, or another safe third country, such as Rwanda, where they will be supported to rebuild their lives. There you go, guys. You will be returned to your home country if safe, which it probably won't be, or Rwanda, like 6,000 miles away. Do they mention the slavery thing here in the... They do. Anyone entering the UK will be prevented from accessing the UK's world-leading modern slavery support. Oh, yeah, okay, no, so they're full-on just saying, like, we will not offer you legal protection from slavery if you are an illegal immigrant. Like, to put in mind, like, how insane this is, this would be like saying if you're illegally in a country, you could legally murder them because they're not legally in the country. Like, they're not going to expend any resources to protect you from those crimes. That's exactly what they're saying here, except for slavery instead of murder. Or abusing these laws to block their removal. Any other challenges or human rights claims can also only be heard after removal remotely. Ah, human rights abuses. Sorry, lads, you're going to have to file those court papers in Rwanda after we've shipped you to a country where a million miles away, where you're incredibly far from any source of the human rights treatment that you got. Yeah, give us a Zoom call. The UK will always be a compassionate country, as demonstrated by the nation opening its hearts and homes to those fleeing from Afghanistan and Ukraine. And under this bill, Parliament will set an annual cap on the number of refugees settled via safe and legal routes, taking into account local authority capacity for housing, public services, and the support communities rightly expect. Nice. You can't have it both ways, you know. How many Ukrainians did they even take in? Support for Ukrainian refugees in UK. There are about 8 million Ukrainian refugees. How many of them have gone to the UK? Oh, yeah, about 161,000. We're talking about refugees that are, relatively speaking, quite educated, likely to be speaking English, 161,000. 8 million in total. Thank you. How nice of them. Yeah. How Afghanistan refugees in UK. Over 9,000 Afghans are still living in temporary accommodation in the UK 18 months after being evacuated from Afghanistan under Operation Pinning. There might have been more over the long term here. How many? No. As of the 3rd of November 2022, over 11,000 individuals had been relocated to the UK. They are seriously bragging, the Tories are seriously bragging about the compassion of the United Kingdom over a 5-digit number of Afghan refugees and just over 6 digits for Ukraine. That's what they're bragging over. Didn't some Ukrainian refugees decide to go back to Ukraine because the UK was so shit? I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to assume that it is because it makes sense to me and I find it funny. Disgusting. I really don't know how to satirize or to make light of the, yeah, if you're here illegally, you're just open season for slave traffickers. I don't what am I supposed to make of that? Modern slavery referrals for those who come to the UK illegally will be disqualified under public order grounds under the terms of the ECAT. So literally, if you're being targeted by traffickers, or if you're, being swept up like that, and a claim is made, it'll be disqualified. Somebody at a government office will literally look at a big piece of paper saying there's slavery happening, and they'll go, it's happening to illegals. That's not a joke. That's not even a comedic hyperbole. That's just the thing that's happening. Fuck, they're going to do that with children too, aren't they? It's going to be like everyone, It's going to happen with people trafficked into the UK. They'll be trafficked in, and then they won't even be able to get out of the system that they're in, because even if a claim is made, it'll be like, well, you're not here legally, are you? Read the bill summary. This is the bill summary. We're looking at it. You mean the Modern Slavery Act of 2015? Because it's quite long and a little bit dry. You forgot slavery is part of British culture, Sweaty? Well, they banned slavery well before the United States did, but it represents such an inhuman level of cruelty and callousness. The people in our society who are already the weakest and the most dispossessed, and of all of the attitudes to take, being like, yeah, we just won't protect you from traffickers. Like, this really is only one step away from going like, well, you can just do crimes against them, you know? This isn't far from that at all. Conceptually, we're in the exact same space. It's not Vaush in the summary. Unaccompanied children, minors who come to the UK illegally will not be removed to a safe third country until adulthood, except in limited circumstances. Yeah, but what if they're with their families? And even if they're not removed to a safe third country until adulthood, does that mean they're immune to the like slavery protection annulment? Separation, probably. Maybe. While they did ban slavery before the US, the Brits still practiced it for quite a while after the fact. Well, to be fair, so did we. That's cool. Don't worry, guys. There is some justice in the universe. You see, the PM is getting ratioed on Twitter for this one. 14.5k quote tweets and 10k likes. So that's good, I guess. All right. That's cool.